What's up, everybody? Alright, it is a chilly night here in Florida. 11:52 p.m. rolling into midnight. Edge of space. I wasn't going to do it, but it was so clear, and I saw that I could get some Mars and the Moon and M42 tonight, so we'll do a midnight cap tour. I'm going to stay with Mars here because it took me a second to find it, and I don't want to try and retrack it, so let us hang with it for a little bit. Visibility is rough, cold front's moving through, so there's lots of blurriness happening, but it's still our planet Mars 50 million miles away. Hope everybody had a great holiday, a Merry Christmas, and whatever holiday you celebrate. Just gonna pull up some tunes here and chill with y'all, hopping in the chat. Annette, what's happening? And Debbie Carson, great to see you. Ellie Wynn, exactly, late Xmas. It's already done, it passed so quickly. But at least I got some rest today, that was nice. Annette, thanks for the kind comments. It's hard to find educated chats, but this is definitely one of them. Thanks for that. Well, I really try. For me, I wanted to carve out a space that I was missing on YouTube, a kind of a place where we could talk about pretty much any topic, but also talk about it respectfully and thoroughly, and not cut each other off and just be mean, you know. It tends to be so antagonistic when you see chat rooms and or comment sections on certain types of videos, especially Electric Universe stuff. It's so all over the place. I'm a little sleepy, to be honest, but feeling good here. I have like layers on, which is so atypical in Florida. I'm gonna chill with y'all for a little bit. I'm gonna go get my something to drink because I got nothing. I set up quickly just to see if it was gonna work, and I had to. Yeah, I'm gonna lament for half a second. The scope was all the way down the stairs, so that's gonna be a kind of pain in the ass. But at least we can see Mars, which is so far west right now, and the Moon as well is like also very high up and also really far west, so it's pretty tricky. And then the other thing is that the computer updated by itself, and now OBS, all the font size in OBS is tiny, like I can't read anything. And for some reason the display thing is not working, so it's just like every time I try and stream there's something that just pops up trying to like shake me. But whatever, gonna power through it. What's up, NGC 6543? Hello, Spacelings. Alright, what are we gonna listen to tonight? Let's do Rebel. It's a fun, groovy jam. On the edge of the shores of another. Say yes to the night, blur like the city. Here, your love was the only simple way. Oh, deep down in this jungle, deep down, sleep down in this jungle, dream down this summer. And we feel weirdly so long, no matter the deal, sighing and watching, oh friend, how you feel. All my life, from my bad depression, hold to life and all those simple needs. And what was life with no one so pretty? I hear you will soon find your sacred way. Oh, beat down in the slumber, deep down in this jungle. Sleep down in this jungle. So I feel weird, so long, no matter the deal, silent and watching, oh friend, how you feel. Waiting for you at the end of time, waiting for you at the edge of the line, waiting for you at the edge of time, sing with you edge of light. So are you at the edge of time. Watch for proof as a simple black magic. As a new with a new sunshine. As a new with the truth that magic. I can do what I said in my time. Wait for you at the edge of the line. Wait for you at the end of time. Oh, deep down in the slumber. Sleep now in the jungle. Sleep now this hunger. So what you feel? Goes another one, see her now kind of floor, sitting upside the thing, trying to be true, bringing up folding chairs, funny how you move, we will figure this in a sense, some would say it's just a part of you, like the seeds of the panic girl, yes, you know what we're living between me, turn up to the another one now. So I just had another one now. So say it's just a part of you, like the seeds of the planet now. There was another one, seeing that time to flow. Sleepless beats on and on. Sleepless beats on and on. My dreams are made of feel so tiny. Sleepless beats on and on. My dreams are made of dreams so high. Sleepless beats on dreams are made. My dreams are made of feel so tiny. At the corner of your bed, I see another crime reveal. What do you think is real? And how you think you see this silhouette redeemed until the moon is all of me. We raced against the birds and let time drift over me. And so you know it's real. I thought you called the being a final rest inside. Sleepless beats on and What's up, everybody? Rolling into midnight. Yeah, 12:03 already. Day after Christmas. We got our beautiful waxing gibbous moon. I have the diagonal in right now, so the moon's actually inverted. It's rare that it's like this on my stream, but right now it's upside down if you're looking at it in the west. I think it's somewhere around the 83% mark. I don't have Stellarium pulled up. Like I said, Windows just updated everything, and it's all scatterbrained at this point. I gotta reset the whole thing up tomorrow. But hope everybody had a wonderful day. And yesterday, the other night actually, when I was going to come back, it completely clouded out, unfortunately. And yesterday was full of storms. What's happening, Fantasy Ecstasy, and what's happening, Cat with a K. Hello, hello. Yeah, so I'm going to chill with y'all. I'm feeling like I could hang out for an hour or so. Let's just watch the moon. I know that M42 is out. I scoped it a little bit earlier. And I think that's it for Mars tonight. It's really tough viewing. You can see it. It's just not only the cold front, but also with the diagonal pointed so high up. Scope struggles. But don't matter. Gonna power through as we do. Let's see what I got here for us. Let's play some Electric Blood. All the new stuff tonight.
I've been waiting on the street for days. Don't treat me like a fool. I've been sleeping on the street for days. Don't treat me you're so cruel. I've been waiting on the porch for days. Don't treat me like you're cool. I've been waiting on the sea for years. I've been waiting for the secret all along. And you know what brings it? Don't you know what the soul can sing? Singing about this dream so long for you. I've been dreaming about the song. So long for you. I've been singing about the song. So long for you, I've been dreaming about the one with you. I've been singing about this dream. So long for you, till I see the color of your eyes reflected in the picture I made for you. All along, and you know what brings it, and you know what soul can sing to me. But you know what brings it, and you know what soul can. We gotta go. But it's what brings it out. original, original mindframe, original, original mindset, original, original mindframe, original, original mindset, original, original mindset, original, original mindset, original, original mindset, original. And I have this thing before me, 'cause I need no one to warn me, and I get much more than I was waiting for, and I need no pain to harm me, just a couple of nights to warm this life, walk the mind, walk the line.
Jungle Rider. I don't know. I named it something else somewhere else too. Got to finish up these tracks for y'all. How y'all feeling tonight? Everything is slow on this this chat. Trying to get an emoji and it's like cranking through. What's happening, Jedi Princess? Good to see you. Hope you had a great holiday or are having one. What's up? Rastaman Lives and Ryan and NC. What up? So adjusted the moon a little bit. I think that's the sharpest I can get it. Of course, it's really cold here, and so it's affecting the view as it typically does. But again, really interesting detail on this particular phase of the moon. December's moons are not... I used to think it was October that had that kind of special quality to it, but really, from the other day with the Apennines and right here with the mountainous region around Sinus Iridum. So just FYI, there is a diagonal, so the moon's image is inverted, which is atypical for my stream. But anyway, Sinus Iridum's upside down right now, and then Plato is at the top. And it's cool to see. Here, actually, let me sketch this. See if Windows didn't mess this up entirely. Alright, that's not working. Well, let's just hold on 1 minute here. Yellow, larger, close that, turn that on. Nope. Oh, there we are. Okay. Weird, it's just everything is scaled. That's the whole thing, is the graphics driver. But anyway, let me just draw here for a moment. You got Plato, crater, and then moving down, or it would be upside down, so north, getting this kind of hexagonal shape around Sinus Iridum, the Bay of Rainbows. All the Chinese missions say they landed here and here and somewhere there. You've got Montes Tenerife, Mons Pico, Mons Rectus, all these Mons Recti, I think, just kind of isolated little mountain peaks. Over here you got Copernicus, I believe. Or am I wrong? Yeah, that is Copernicus for sure. You can see the striations coming off like electrical arcing. But let's stick here for a second. And to the right, Mare Frigoris. Cutting right through. I want to say this is Anaxagoras, but I could be wrong. Could be one of these. Tough visibility tonight. Tough crowd tonight. That's not true, y'all are so not a tough crowd. But yeah, tough focus. What's up, Cyber Sully? Merry Christmas to you. Alright, so let me hide this paint program. And just let's look at this incredible detail around this region. It's rare to get Sinus Iridum like this with this kind of relief on the mountain ranges. And then seeing all the chain of craters, really, the droplets almost. 81% illuminated, like I said, or like I guessed. And let's see if I can't get the colors even better. It's a little chilly, but not too bad. It's warming up, that's for sure. As I do stream, it always gets hotter. Hotter. Alright, look at that. Pull out some of these colors. Adjust the gamma a little bit. That's looking really nice. Alright, let's watch the Bay of Rainbows, and I'll pick a song to go along. Alright, this is kind of an upbeat one, but let's do it. This is Fine Shore Ways.
Like a fifth wheel waterfalls, like your history. High, singing low, like the cold trees on the soul track. You brought me down to the whoa. Forget about the land you knew was strange. Remember all the love you knew was days. Won't you close eyes, relinquish every step of the way. Oh, terrestrial, and all your memories, like a cold hand, puts up your sleeve like a death wheel. I'm rolling down. I'll be toe to toe with the truth you know. All the fine, show away. Would you go till the end of your days? With the fine, would you crawling up to you? Would you go to the end of your days? Yeah, go to the end of your days, to the end of your days.
That was Fine Shore Ways, and some shreddies at the end. I'm just pulling up my atlas over here so we can look at this amazing feature, this Mare. I want to say just because it's upside down, like I'm a little bit lost. Is it Humorum or Nubium? No, it's Nectaris, right? No, that's not Theophilus. No, it ain't. Hold on, there's something going on that's weird. It's Mare Humorum, right? Okay, there you go. Flip that. And that's Gassendi crater. So look at the beautiful detail on Gassendi on the rim of Mare Humorum. This is the feature on the left that I'm talking about. Let me pull up my paint program. Let's sketch some hexagons and craters on the rims of craters preferentially. All that fun, fancy electric universe stuff that nobody seems to want to talk about. What's going on, Mick Kahn, and whoever else is coming to join us or is lurking. Also, let me know if there's a region on the moon that you want me to zoom in on or feature. I'm just going to go through here. So, Mare Humorum, Gassendi crater, and Gassendi A on the rim of Gassendi. Elongated, kind of somewhat disheveled hexagons, but still you kind of make out the straight edges. Then up here, these are the two parallel rays, or kind of the road that leads to Tycho. You got Borealis over there. Over here you got Copernicus, looking very hexy crater. All the electrical Lichtenberg striations that come out. Replicated in the lab by many, but Billy Elverton, Electric Universe Eyes, Electro Terra Vision, and this other cat that I just saw the other day. Also, it looks like a sun, it looks like an eye, looks like so many things, because electricity at the fundamental core is fractal geometry. In fact, I was going to bring up the fact that Andrew Hall had a great video on Thunderbolts Project. I think they just posted one tonight too, but the one from 5 or 6 days ago where Andrew Hall talks about dragons is really, really good, because it's very validating actually. It's a lot of what I was talking about, but I've taken it from him, so of course he's going to validate me. But either way, he talks very specifically about how, you know, the dragon formation is formed, why it's formed, why rivers and lakes look like that. He talks about the fractal recursiveness of geology and forms in general and patterns. So it's really cool to listen to that. Yeah, it's after midnight. It gets dark enough to get these kind of great shots, but of course we're plagued a bit with the cold front. I think the next few nights are going to be kind of crazy, but again, it's also a tough shot because then the moon is so far west that I have to put the scope all the way down the stairs, which means I don't have direct access to it. One day they'll have like a camera that has an RF controlled remote control. It's just crazy that we live in this world where there's so many different devices and so many high-tech devices, but the Sony mirrorless camera remote is still IR, so you have to be pointed at the front of the Sony camera for it to read. Otherwise, it's like a nightmare. And even given that, take-back space probably wouldn't be possible to some degree in this form without that little remote. But if you know what I mean, IR, so it has to be just like pointed at the sensor. It's just crazy, and there's no other way to do it. There's no RF thing that you can plug in and have a remote control that's just like fully like 10 feet away. It would change the entire take-back space experience for me. Entirely. To be able to like adjust ISO and access the slideshow and access deleting stuff just from a distance would definitely allow me to like put the scope much further and therefore capture much more. TMI, Confessions of a Backyard Astronomer. What's happening, everybody? Let's see. I heard a yogi talking about the universe being electric. That's good. That's good. Fractal electromagnetic. Mirror for IR. Yeah, I thought about that, but it's really the camera is attached to the scope, so the scope has to be free to move like about at least 120 to 150 degrees. And so if it's swinging around and trying to get that whole alignment, it literally is one of the most idiotic things that I've never been able to solve, but I feel it will happen in the next generation of cameras. Like, literally the Sony A7R4 doesn't even have just a cheap, like, $40 RF remote that just works in the way that this one does. I don't know. I'm complaining way too much, but it's been such a gripe. Literally, I've done like what 700 plus shows with this ridiculous IR remote where I'm like, okay. Now you registered, or having to get up entirely and just do it by hand, therefore shaking the camera and the scope. The plague of idiotic technology. Both futuristic and primitive. Anyway, let's cruise more of the moon. That was Humorum and Gassendi and Copernicus up top. We got Kepler. Let's look at Kepler for a moment. Kepler looks awesome. Cybercelly says, you need a guy like me around to build you a nice rooftop platform. It would be nice, honestly, but it's one of those things where I almost had to move this year, and it's always precarious in terms of like investing that kind of stuff into a property that you don't own. It's just a matter of time before I get my own place and I can afford to buy a house, but that's grown-up stuff. That's not true. It's right now type of stuff, but I don't know. Who wants to buy in this market? Because it's just really weird. But soon. It's like one of those things that you know how to shop for a house based on the hobby that you have. So it's a really easy thing to pick out houses. As soon as I find something that actually has a place where I can build a dome and have the 17-inch, 20-inch scope in the yard, then I know that's the house for me. And I think I gotta stay in Florida too. Like, this is crazy that it has this kind of still dark skies and what is basically post-apocalyptic Terminator world. Somehow Florida still has low houses and dark skies. Right? This is the weirdest Christmas ever in my life. But it's fun to be able to share space. This is oddly staring deep into this giant plasma bubble around us that contains the moon and the planets and the stars. Feels somewhat more safe than what's going on the surface of this planet. Yo, what's going on, Howie Dunn and Copper Trops? Good evening to you both, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Yeah, you know what I mean. I already have it in mind, like, and it's actually not that expensive for all the scope stuff. Like, a dome is with a retractable roof is like what, 15 grand? 17-inch like moonlight scope, those are, what are they, 25 grand maybe, 20 if I haggle. And one of the new Sony cameras, like, I'm just talking about fantasy dream setup. Like, David from Astronomy Live has like pretty much all of the cool stuff. He has the Rasa, he has the 11, he's got all the different mounts, he's got all the 4K cameras. The thing is, David just is one person or two people. I think it's just him. But like, he can only do so much, right? And the skies that he has are pretty rough. Like, still, I feel like there are these moonlight scopes that are handcrafted, rocker Dobsonians made out of wood that have these custom mirrors. Anything like in the 17-inch range is just going to be astounding with a 4K like full frame camera on good nights. Can you imagine looking at Copernicus through that? And then of course like trying to figure out how to do much wider shots using a 17-inch, right? Like that kind of light gathering, but then compressing that down to like an f6.3 or an f4. That'd be unbelievable type of shots. Alright, a little bit of tunage to go with our lunage. Harmony wave. Let's do this.
setting at work, and you sending pictures from across the astral plane, and you sending cryptic kisses across the matching network. So call me up, and let's get down, 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 down. So call me up, and let's get down, 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 down. Somebody, je t'attends mon amour incestuel, assis dans mon canapé cinéma, achetant la éternelle avec Orion son billet. Je suis la même dans l'avant-l'année chaque jour. Je t'attends mon amour avec les mecs sans agrévé. Et c'est mon âme magnétique, c'est l'amour magnétique, c'est mon amour magnifique. Cool running, no water, you water, 'cause what is rudder, whatever it takes. Please, I've been dreaming from the heart eye. No lie, been beaten from the heart eyes. No why, no why, no why. So call me up, and let's get down, 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 down. So call me up, and let's get down, 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 down.
Alright, keep the vibe going here. That was Will Powered and Harmony Wave. Before that, coming up is Set This Feeling, Soulfire. And it's looking crazy tonight, just gonna keep going with this view.
So glad I found your tree. Drift like wood on the beach. We suffered longingly. Your world is coming apart at the seams. Then I found that policy that cut a real deal between you and me. Then you walk up slowly to me, come up from the sand. And you're carving the trees to play tricks with my head. I got to set the needed a part of you. All my life and my heart is still aching. Said I needed a part of you. Maybe we'll lose our lives someday, but I got the stars in my heart. No one can take that away. I got the stars in my heart. Set the feeling is so fun, so fire. 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 Set the feeling
so fire. Just that crunchy bass. Yeah, I'm proud of that track. That's just vibing, but gonna keep it going here because I'm just enjoying listening and not talking too much tonight. We'll go with Mutual Masses up next, but just loving this crazy detailed view tonight, especially with the diagonal. It gets a different perspective than we normally get with the camera that I usually do direct to scope. So right here, Gassendi crater, central peaks on the rim of Mare Humorum, with Gassendi A on the rim of Gassendi. Just such a cool electric feature. Thanks for hanging out, y'all. 1248, Edge of Space, another ride.
so tired. You come to the mind of the feast, to drift away on our true blue, and that we all have to through the
let's file a planetary grievance for nothing in particular. Honestly, we should award planet Earth for giving us such a great view of the sky, of the moon, and space. Loving this tonight. It's just a little bit dirty and a little bit blurry, but apart from that, pretty spectacular. Just rolling through some of these jams here. What's happening, peoples? I hope you're all having a good night. 1 a.m. The jour après. What is Christmas in French? I should remember this. I'm gonna remember it. Oui, oui, joyeux Noël. Man, brain's not working today at all. But, alright, what's cool? Looking at sea of, what is this? Everything's upside down, so I think Sea of Serenity, Sea of Tranquility. Alright, Tranquility has the notch in it. So Sea of Serenity has these interesting white streaks going across it. Very sharp corner at the bottom right. You can see the Apennine range cutting right through. Wait, is that the Apennine? Man, I'm like not making sense of it tonight. It might not be that actually. Right, so south is Mare Imbrium. If I move up, yeah, it is the Apennines. Jeez, doubting myself. I'm cutting through, and that must be Sea of Serenity, and then Sea of Tranquility. Some of it's blown out because I just want to get that kind of contrast in the Mare. What's happening? Ilatiki. Howie Dunn says our grievance can be against NASA. Yeah, I don't know. The stuff was reading about today, like it's hard to blame criminal organizations for their actions, you know, because you can only blame them if you expect them to act non-criminal. But if they're set up to be criminal at the start, I don't know how I can be mad at them. Like, honestly, it's so far beyond, like, what's going on right now, the amount of technology that's not public is unbelievable. Must be unbelievable. Oh, no. Yeah, every time that the door swings, it knocks the camera a little bit. I'm just looking at this cool notch above Tranquility and Serenity. Yeah, that's the door, smashing it. Alright, I gotta adjust this. I gotta adjust it. I got some moonquakes. Damn. Whew. That's sort of annoying, but that's fine. That's fine. Door wave. Alright, let's keep listening to some tunes here. What shall I play? I think tomorrow it'll be a little bit easier to scope. It'll be a little bit warmer too. But I think maybe tomorrow I'll try and do the 11-inch We'll see. It might be the day after though. So what is it? Today is Friday, Saturday. So Sunday night, maybe do the 11 at around 6 p.m. It'll be close to the full moon. Looking for a track here. What about... So what's the point? Alright, so a little bit longer with the moon. It's already starting to aberrate and go beyond the side of the house, so I don't know, another 10 more minutes with the moon, and then I'm going to close it out with some M42, which is flying high overhead. Let's get some YMI up in here and keep going with the cosmic grooves. 1:08 a.m. riding high.
Space theater scenes, no one weirder comes. Good Baron, soul ball speaker, bring me back over telephone line, running amok in future time. My space theater scenes, no one lives here, and existence has no motives either. Bring me back to your elegant crime. Freeform jams into your mind. So let's get crazy today. I got some smoke. Let's get to talking. I got some love in the air. That's right. I got some love everywhere. That's right.
So it is so difficult. Because I have the scope all the way down the steps and the camera on the diagonal, it's literally impossible for me to contort and find Orion in the reticle. So I've spent the last 10 minutes trying to figure out how to hang upside down on the steps. And I still haven't found it, so bear with me here. Let's see if I can't find M42 by sheer luck and just scouting around the right area. Goodness, tried to break my back out there, but not happening. Like, no way, no how. Again, we use AI for such ridiculous things. Make me an AI computer. An AI telescope, I mean, that finds me Orion. Alright. It's a complainy show today. Complaining so much. Here's a vibe. right. That was tough, man. But I just lifted the scope and brought it closer to me, just because the moon and Mars are gone now, and I was able to use the reticle to find M42. It's just such a weird spot, and the diagonal on the scope makes it even tougher. Difficult scope night, but the views are still pretty rad. That was Thinking About You, Love. 1:28 a.m. I'm getting a little tired here, but got to check in with y'all and have a little late night Christmas space trip. Kick the weekend off right. What's happening in American Life videos and everybody else hanging out. I appreciate it. Wingsley's grooving, heck yeah. So, yep, M42, Messier 42, the Great Orion Nebula. Tracking is pretty terrible, but at least we're getting to see this for a little bit. A couple more tunes here, and I'm going to call it a night. Get some rest. It's a good one, actually, at an hour 40. What song should I play here? Something fun. Something pretty. What about... this grooves. Let's keep partying. Oh. Why not? Dance the night away. This is the will-powered before the will-powered. close it out with a tiny bit of chat on this fantasy you're talking about. The Egyptians knew, the Anunnaki knew, about the Sphinx knows, Werner von Braun knew, says Howie Dunn. What up, more Jello please, word up. Good to see you, Merry Christmas. I know a bunch of people just showed up, looks like more people are here, but yeah, I'm going to start wrapping it up and go take it easy. Also, just tonight is plagued with all these different issues, and the tracking is annoying. But quickly, I guess, like, I've thought about it, you know, like the powers that be in the structure, like Werner von Braun, right? Like, what did he really know? Did he know that the world was interconnected using, you know, through plasma layers? Did he understand all that sort of stuff? Or was he so caught up in kind of the politics of it all? I feel like people like that who are caught up in the celebrity and the money and the politics and power don't really have time to research plasma cosmology. And then in terms of the Anunnaki, again, I feel like sometimes we think that I feel like the placement of this myth of ancient aliens was instilled through media. I feel like if we look at it just as ancestral lineage and as people like us who used to live and watch the skies, I think Anunnaki, and I'm not really too super coherent right now, but Anunnaki and ancient aliens could really just be people who used to watch the skies and who left us all these clues, right? It doesn't have to be enslaving humanity, right? It doesn't have to be reptilian Anunnaki slave masters or aliens from another planet, right? I'm sorry, I know that that's the romantic story, but for me it makes way more sense that we might be looking at a cross-section of the coaxial Birkeland filament coming into Earth right now. The connection with Earth and the connection with Orion, and or this is not just Orion, like we have placed the story of Orion on the constellation Orion, the belt of Orion, the Betelgeuse, Rigel, Hatzia, this trapezium cluster. What's more fascinating than anything is that we live in a time where this particular nebula, this trapezium cluster right at the middle of this kind of square / diamond shaped nebula, not only is recursively geometric in relation to the moon and all the other stuff that like the torus and the hourglass shape and the stuff that I've sketched many a time, but there's really more of there are so many questions that we can derive and so many answers that we can derive from this one feature that really with any budget scope or binoculars you can see this nebula that's just condensed matter along filamentary electrical currents moving through space. Again, I've talked about how insane it is that we don't talk about the moon that much. Nobody talks about M42 and how incredible it really is, like that it's there all the time, that you can derive all this information from it. Yeah, so little thoughts at the very end. Don't think they're aliens, but there might be. There might be, who knows. But definitely there are nebula, and this kind of cross-section, it almost reminds me of like seeing brain scans, and kind of right in the middle of it there are these 4 very bright stars kind of linked up in a diamond formation, and then they recursively grow out, and then you have another larger diamond formation. At the same time, you also have, you know, if we saw more of the nebula, if it were clearer, you'd see the kind of curving of the side-by-side pinching of the hypotrochoid or the side-by-side hexagons be much more prominent. And there goes the scope. As if that weren't enough, the electrical connection to the scope just dropped out on me. So I'm going to let the sky drift off and see if there are any few comments here. Love me some philo-cosmology late in the afternoon. Love it. All is atum. That's funny that you say that. I was listening to somebody talk about atum, but in Arabic, atum is darkness, and all is atum could be interpreted as all is counter space. In terms of the electric universe, everything that is matter is condensed, basically vibrational frequency along these filamentary plasma. Everything around it is what keeps the filamentary plasma and what we see in place, like stars and planets. So everything is counter space. And so, yeah. Yeah, the Bible verse that Brown had on his tombstone about the firmament. That whole story about Werner von Braun is like, I guess I'll talk about it for a second. It's so sketchy. I'll tell you why. Because first of all, Americans had a German / potentially Nazi sympathizer scientists working on the space program. But at the same time, they're very happy that he was doing that because these scientists were at the top of their field, right? When I watched Werner von Braun and read his book, or read excerpts from his book rather, he was a futurist, right? More than anything. There's not that much technical detail in it. So people say a lot of things. They'd call Stephen Hawking a genius, but when you read Stephen Hawking's writings, it's devoid of detail and devoid of math. It's much more abstract and storytelling, a lot like Einstein, a lot like many of the contemporary theoretical physicists. So I think Werner von Braun, it can't both be good. How do I want to phrase this? So when you listen to him talk, he was the one who was saying that it's going to be impossible to go to the moon, right? And then at the same time, 10 years later, the moon missions happened in some form. But then you also have this kind of cryptic Bible verse about the firmament on his tombstone. He never references it in anything else, so the fact that it's on his tombstone is really strange. But furthermore, it doesn't... let's unpack it. What does it mean? There's a glass sky around Earth, right? That Werner von Braun led a group of NASA's astronauts, and they couldn't break through this glass roof. But maybe some did break through the glass roof. And then they also got information from Admiral Byrd about Antarctica and went underground and met Nazis, and they had a force field. Right? These are the stories. There are like 10 different points about this that are all kind of muddied into one story. Operation High Jump, Operation Paperclip, and it's not to say that they're not all interconnected, but I think not enough is really considered as to why these things are even on YouTube, or how they make you think about things in a certain way. So for example, there's really no way of proving one way or another what Admiral Byrd saw except for that little piece of footage, right? So what did he find? He found warm land at the poles. That doesn't indicate more than the fact that he found warm land near the poles, right? It doesn't show Jules Verne's rocks and journey to the center of the Earth. It doesn't show dinosaurs. It doesn't show all the things that are speculated about it. And then Werner von Braun, didn't really talk about anything in specific when it comes to, a firmament, flat Earth, anything like that at all. He actually was really talking a lot like Aldous Huxley, Arthur C. Clarke, like Asimov, this group of intellects who wanted to, or pseudo-intellects who wanted to narrate and create the future of technology. And so I feel like Werner von Braun told a lot of stories, and I don't think he had any concept of really what was happening around Earth, except to suffice to say that he felt like we couldn't really leave Earth in terms of the radiation. However, when you go down the rabbit hole of radiation, you'll feel that you can find Jarrah White's work on it. You can find Van Allen himself negate his own work. And I'm not denying any of this. I'm saying that I've dug into these rabbit holes, and they don't really yield very much except pure speculation at the end of the day. It's hard to figure out really how much radiation is around Earth. It's hard to get a sense of what James Van Allen ultimately said about the whole thing, or whether he was pressured into saying things. Very hard to determine what Wernher von Braun actually knew about the space program, if he wasn't just like a public puppeteer, futurist mouthpiece. Like today, does Neil deGrasse Tyson know about plasma physics? Does he? Or does he spend more time like practicing being a celebrity? I used to think they all knew this stuff, but I feel like they don't have time. Jesuit deceptions. But you know, like everybody's everything, right? There are deceptions from all different types of religious fundamentalists. So this idea that somehow it's Jesuit doesn't make any sense specifically, because it's a whole group of different types of people who deceive, so you know, quote unquote deceive people. Yeah. Either way, what it really comes down to is there doesn't seem to be a place where Antarctica ends up with some real information, right? You can't go there really. Only a certain group of people can go there. There seems to be video footage from Admiral Byrd showing that there are these places that seemingly should be freezing but are actually temperate. But I feel like that's kind of a natural occurrence that's going to happen regardless. Is there a hole in the ice per some like conspiracy videos, right? There are so many different videos about Agartha or going into the hollow poles. It's just one of those things that it's nice to fantasize about in a way, but it's also very, very difficult to prove anything for sure about it. Which is ultimately why, Jedi Princess, have a great night. Catch you soon. Yeah, finishing up here. That's why, ultimately, I kind of spend more time on, you know, moon craters and the shapes and how it all ties into what we see today. But definitely have researched some of that stuff, and who knows? Could be anything. Could be anything, but I've always felt really funny about the whole Wernher von Braun firmament comment, and whether that was planted or whether somebody else did that or whether he even knew what that referenced at all. I think it's a lot like the Neil Armstrong comment about uncovering truth's hidden layers. It's obvious that these stories have like many different facets to them that the public has no idea of. So. But I think ultimately much cooler than, you know, the moon missions were a conspiracy, much cooler than all this stuff is that the human bodies are connected to filaments in space. We look like solar systems and nebula, and we look like bacteria and animals and trees, and we all are basically the ultimate Godhead manifest as all these different shapes. So regardless of whether there are controllers, deceivers, and whatnot, we're still as powerful as the most powerful. And yeah, I'll leave it there. Hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your night, but it's already late, but tomorrow, and I will catch you for another stream either in the evening or for some more of this moon. I think it'll be warmer tomorrow. Hope I made a little bit of sense. I know I was meandering a bit on all those, but it's a lot of different conspiracy threads to tie up. Take care, everybody. I'll catch you really soon. Good night.